The Indiana Fever are in a disastrous situation right now. They're in an absolutely disastrous situation.
Just moments ago, Sophie Cunningham finally spoke out, and what she revealed about the Indiana Fever locker room should send shockwaves through every Caitlin Clark fan out there.
Sophie Cunningham goes in the post-game press conference and confirms what we've all known all along.
We've kind of wavered a little bit on that. We have our own islands.
This locker room is split, and she uses the term different islands going on in this locker room.
Sophie literally says, there's a little thing going on in the locker room.
That's not good. That's not good to hear.
We're talking broken trust, no backup for their star, and a team unraveling from within. Caitlin's fights clearly go far beyond the court. She's out there waging war completely on her own.
There's one really concerning thing that Sophie Cunningham says.
I think that we've kind of wavered a little bit on that. We have our own island.
It's been a disaster. The good teams can keep the locker room together.
If you're still backing Caitlin Clark and believe she deserves way better than this disaster, drop a comment below. Stand up for Caitlin Clark, because after Sophie's brutally honest words, it's clear this team's falling apart, and no one's lifting a finger to protect their once-in-a-generation star.
Caitlin Clark is the star player of the WNBA.
The most popular woman ever in the WNBA, Caitlin Clark.
Caitlin Clark is the needle. Caitlin is box office.
Caitlin Clark as the star. Everything else is wrapped around her, and everything else is revolving around her.
She's Rookie of the Year in the WNBA.
For weeks, fans felt something was wrong with this Fever squad, and now Sophie has torn the bandage clean off. She confirmed what everyone had been whispering. The locker room is fractured, unraveling just when Caitlin needs unity more than ever. In her post-game press conference, Sophie didn't hold back.
Sophie Cunningham, in the post-game interview, speaks on this team and the islands.
We have our own island. That line hit like a live grenade.
I think that we've kind of wavered a little bit on that. We have our own island.
This wasn't just about missed plays or botched assignments. It was a locker room filled with disconnection, zero unity, and a blinding absence of leadership.
Everybody's on their own little island.
For a team built around a once-in-a-generation talent like Caitlin Clark, that's a blaring neon red warning sign for every fan who's watching closely.
Take care of our locker room.
Whew! You did a job at that.
Sophie admitted the squad is unstable and failing to support each other when it counts. Translation: Caitlin's not just eating hits from defenders, she's being left to fend for herself with no help from her own teammates when the blows keep coming.
Caitlin Clark, plasters over all the cracks. She realistically plasters over all the cracks of this team. This team is not structured well.
The very squad that's supposed to rally around her can't even hold it together. Last season, they had each other's backs. Win or lose, there was a sense of unity. But now, Sophie bluntly admits, everything's changed.
Even when they were losing games, it seemed like the locker room was in a good spot.
Now Sophie's basically waving a massive warning flag. And this isn't some clueless rookie talking. This is a battle-tested veteran. She even owned up, saying she's got to step up and help unify the team. But let's be honest, that doesn't fix the cracks that are already splitting wide open.
Sophie Cunningham coming out there and effectively saying there's a big difference between her saying there are locker room issues and her saying the locker room maybe isn't where it needs to be.
Caitlin Clark's trapped in a locker room that offers her no protection, emotionally, mentally, or physically. And that collapse, it's bleeding out onto the court for everyone to witness.
It is not looking positive for them to be fixed. We can be honest here. It's not looking positive.
In games where Caitlin takes a beating, where's the support? No teammates stepping up to send a message. Just collapse when it counts. Sophie even pointed it out herself. They scored 35 points on us in one quarter.
They scored 35 points, I think you guys said. That just cannot happen.
That's a team with no discipline, no focus, and no trust. This isn't just about losing a few games. It's about a whole culture crumbling from within.
The Indiana Fever are in a disastrous situation right now. They're in an absolutely disastrous situation.
When your superstar's out there fighting alone, this isn't some ordinary team issue anymore. This is a full-scale meltdown.
If it's not minor, then again, I'm getting very close to to just riding off the seat.
Sophie Cunningham's blunt remarks about players living on different islands didn't come out of nowhere. They're the result of months of dysfunction, puzzling roster decisions, and a front office that looks utterly lost on how to protect the one player who truly matters, Caitlin Clark. And a lot of this mess circles right back to DeWanna Bonner and Natasha Howard. Let's be clear, Bonner wasn't signed to just fill a roster spot.
Whose idea was it to bring these old dinosaurs and put them on this roster, starting with DeWanna Bonner?
She landed a max contract from the Fever in the offseason. Still one of the most baffling moves fans and analysts can recall. Sure, Bonner brought experience, but she also came with serious baggage. And despite all her veteran status, the instant result was friction, not leadership. Some insiders even suggest her sudden exit wasn't just about her brutal shooting. It was a last-ditch effort to save whatever shred of team unity remained.
One of the fractures was a DeWanna Bonner group off to the side.
One analyst didn't even hold back, asking if the Fever finally realized they had to cut Bonner just to stop the locker room from completely imploding. Her sudden release shocked the entire WNBA, but in hindsight, it's hard to ignore the signs. She may have been the wedge splitting the team apart, right as Caitlin was fighting to keep it all together. Then there's Natasha Howard, arguably an even bigger question mark and an even bigger risk. Fans and creators have slammed her for her lack of urgency, shaky effort, and head-scratching behavior off the court. In a recent game, she literally showed more concern for an opposing player than for her own teammates.
Tasha Howard decides that she'd rather
11.
She'd rather rub up on Ezzy Magnabor's leg.
Even when Caitlin Clark hit the floor after a brutal foul, Natasha stood there stone-faced. No reaction, no support, nothing at all.
Anytime Caitlin Clark's been knocked to the ground, anytime Aaliyah Boston's been punked, anytime Lexi Hull's been beat up, Sophie Cunningham's been beat up, any more concern about somebody on the other team than from her own team.
Meanwhile, she's quick to check on rival players, but barely bats an eye when Caitlin gets dropped, or Aaliyah takes a hit, or Sophie gets shoved around. It's not just awkward, it's flat out embarrassing. And still, with all that, Howard keeps clocking big minutes, while players like Sophie Cunningham, who actually care, stay glued to the bench. Even worse, fans are convinced this loyalty to Howard is pure politics, all thanks to Stephanie White, the head coach who once coached Howard back in Indiana. It's not about merit, it's about connections, and that's when the real damage comes into focus. By clinging to veterans who aren't all in and sidelining players who are, the Fever blew up their own chemistry. Now, the locker room's broken into literal factions. One analyst even mapped it out. Caitlin, Lexi Hull, and Sophie on one island, Natasha, Sydney Colson, and Kelsey Mitchell camped out on another.
The Indiana Fever faced off against the Chicago Sky in a blowout victory.
And going in on the Chicago Sky.
They're not going to be pushed around anymore. Even in the midst of all the talk yesterday, you have a Sophie Cunningham, you have a Natasha Howard, and you have a DeWanna Bonner. There's a level of credibility, there's a level of toughness.
Caitlin Clark, in the post-game interview, she made it a point to say, this is not, please don't blow this out of proportion.
The entire WNBA seemed to freeze in time this weekend. The Indiana Fever had just secured a defining victory, but the real fireworks came when DeWanna Bonner grabbed the figurative mic and set social media ablaze, putting Angel Reese and the Chicago Sky firmly in their place.
She currently funked herself with Charlotte Webb after she shared a post last night of pretty much somebody congratulating her and going in on the Chicago Sky.
Right in the heart of the storm, Angel Reese was catching strays and sharp glances, while Caitlin Clark soaked it all in with that trademark cool. Bonner wasn't holding back. She brought the sass, stirred the tea, and spilled it across the court with the kind of razor-sharp precision only a seasoned vet with receipts could pull off.
Angel Reese, part 32, let's get it! This ain't LeBron, this is butter pecan! Bang! They want to put her at point forward this season. They want her making plays, because she a playmaker! Bang! That Angel Reese hit a buzzer beater, you gotta check this out! 3, 2, 1, Who cares they lost by 35 points? At least she got her 17 rebounds. Hey, Ma, you got a receipt for this Barbie? I think this one's broken. Send it back.
What began as a standard post-game presser quickly spiraled into a full-blown roast session. And no, the Fever's win wasn't the grand finale, it was just the trailer. The real main event? Bonner calling out Reese and the Sky live and unfiltered. This wasn't just basketball, it was reality TV with a shot clock. And trust, the reruns are going to slap differently.
They make it a hate thing. Like, they make it a hate train. It's like, no. I'm telling you, if I was the coach or the owner, we forfeit in every game. Either we forfeit or Angel will not be in attendance.
Angel Reese fans is calling race, like they're sparking a race war on Twitter right now, and it's starting to get national attention. They're attacking white fans, black fans.
From the opening whistle, the energy in the arena was electric. The air crackled with anticipation, and the Fever stormed out like they were done listening to the doubters. Fast, fierce, and flawlessly precise.
For good position.
Clark pulls deep one left wing.
Caitlin Clark is her. Natasha Howard able to lay it in to Boston. Her jumper is good.
I think we have a group that's much like the Pacers. We've got a lot of great balance.
Still on the bounce. 3 seconds to go in the half. Caitlin, left wing, off balance, three.
Got it! Caitlin connects ahead of the halftime buzzer. She is 1 of 1.
Every touch of the ball sent a message. And Caitlin Clark? She didn't just run the offense. She orchestrated a masterpiece. But the real plot twist? Indiana didn't just keep pace with the Sky. They controlled the narrative from start to finish. And DeWanna Bonner? She played like this game had been circled, starred, and marked with revenge in bold, all caps.
DeWanna Bonner, man, Indiana Fever on, became the 3rd all-time WNBA leading scorer in history.
Caitlin Clark looks like she's going to be the MVP of the league. Angel Reese made a fool out of herself, and we won by 100, and I won. So we're back in the good mode, back in the winning. Yesterday was tough with the Celtics, but we're back, baby, and it all starts with who? CC, 22, Caitlin Clark.
Angel Reese came in with her signature swagger. Big talk, bold moves. But this time, she ran into a different kind of heat. No noise, no theatrics. Just ruthless, ice-cold execution. Indiana shut her down like a rumor past its prime. Yeah, she got her double-double, but it felt more like filler than headline. This night belonged to the Fever, and you could feel the power shift in real time. Bonner and Clark didn't just clock in, they took over. And with every step, they sent a clear message to Angel in the Sky. This isn't your house.
She had as much passion for basketball as she did for her hate for Caitlin Clark. Gonna get up, scream in her face. You know, you should be thanking her, because you would have missed another wide open layup. They say, but don't lie. Oh, she gonna cry. Wah, wah. 35% from the field. Trash. She had 5 turnovers. Trash! There are living human beings that breathe, that enjoy this kind of basketball. To the psych ward you go! Burn! It's like driving by a car wreck. I can't help myself. I can't stop watching!
As the game went on, the spotlight didn't stay on Reese because she was dominating. It stayed because she was unraveling. That trademark confidence? It started to splinter. Every awkward drive, every missed chance chipped away at the shine. The fans saw it, her teammates felt it, and Bonner? She didn't just see the cracks, she thrived on them. She turned everyone into fuel.
Much like Donnie Carr, Angel Reese relies on the dramatics to generate attention, because just like Donnie, she can't maintain attention based on skill. And the attention-seeking behavior, it started immediately yesterday as Angel Reese and the Chicago Bravado decided that they were going to disrespect the country by refusing to come out for the national anthem. She immediately loses her temper. She could not believe Caitlin Clark stole her moment. Angel Reese gets off the ground very slowly, because everyone seems to be moving in slow motion in the WNBA.
The Angel Reese fan base is full of toxicity right now because they is extremely embarrassed that Angel Reese came to Indiana and laid a goose egg.
It stopped feeling like a game and started reading like a message board. The moment? Bonner ripping the ball from Reese like a pickpocket in Times Square. She glided in for the layup. No grin, no fist pump, just a stare that sliced through Reese like glass. Cold, clinical, legendary. Then came the post-game post, effortlessly flaunting her performance while lacing in a bit of digital shade for Reese and the crew. The timeline didn't just light up, it exploded.
Bonner, who knocks it away. Cookies, TV, open court, right side, and she lays it in.
Reese was left gathering the emotional fragments, no longer in control of the storyline. The spotlight had shifted off her box score and squarely onto Bonner's message. This wasn't just a win, it was a statement carved in bold. A veteran didn't just show up. She took the stage and marked her territory in permanent ink.
One more free throw for Bonner. It's in the air, and it's good. DeWanna Bonner now third in WNBA history in scoring. 7,489 points and counting. And here's the ovation for Bonner.
Reese strutted into the arena like she was writing the script. But from the jump, it was clear. This was a pressure cooker. Every touch brought bodies. Every dribble triggered traps. The Indiana crowd, ruthless. Bonner, even worse. There was no space, no flow, just unrelenting personal feud-level intensity. It felt like the Fever had one mission, erase her from her own highlight reel. Bonner didn't just defend, she composed the entire shutdown. And Clark? She was the calm conductor, dialing up plays while the sky looked like they were stuck in a time warp. What read like a matchup on paper turned into a live clinic in dominance. Reese fought back, snatching boards, chasing loose balls, clawing for momentum like a contestant on a rigged game show. But something was off, and everyone felt it. Caitlin Clark is changing the game, literally. Her ability to drain deep three-pointers, the kind you usually associate with Steph Curry, has redefined the expectations for women's basketball. It's not just about the range, it's her confidence, flair, and ability to consistently perform at a level we've rarely, if ever, seen before. NBA legends and basketball greats are taking notice, and their reactions are a testament to her talent and impact. Michael Jordan, the greatest of all time, didn't hold back in his praise. He highlighted how much Caitlin has done for the WNBA and called for better officiating to protect her from unnecessary fouls and hostility. MJ's message was clear: Caitlin is invaluable to the game, and it's time the league treated her accordingly. Steph Curry, often seen as her male counterpart, has been equally impressed. He's pointed out the similarities in their games, not just the lightning-fast release and jaw-dropping range, but also their ability to elevate teammates and put on a show for fans. As Steph said, she's the total package. But Caitlin's rise hasn't come without challenges. From the start, she's faced criticism and even hostility from some WNBA players. NBA legends like Rick Barry and George Gervin have defended her, calling out the jealousy and disrespect. Barry was blunt, saying the hate comes from fear of her undeniable talent. Gervin added that Caitlin's impact goes beyond the court. She's brought private charters, bigger sponsorships, and unprecedented attention to the WNBA. As Barkley put it, you should be thanking that girl. Yet, not everyone is on board. Reggie Miller sees the adversity as part of Caitlin's journey, arguing that every rookie must prove themselves. Kevin Garnett echoed that sentiment, framing the extra defensive attention and hard fouls as a sign of respect. They both believe these challenges will only make her stronger. The controversy around Caitlin reached a new level when she was left off the U.S. Olympic roster. Critics like Paul Pierce argued it was a missed opportunity for the sport, while others, like Dwight Howard, saw it differently. Howard suggested the break might have been a blessing in disguise, giving Caitlin time to recharge and dominate in the second half of the season. Through it all, Caitlin has stayed focused. Her game has grown faster, sharper, and even more electrifying. Legends like Shaquille O'Neal have praised her ability to silence critics with her play. Shaq, in his signature style, summed it up perfectly. If I say you're not gonna hit that shot and you hit it anyway, you're the truth. What's remarkable is how much Caitlin has already done for women's basketball. Magic Johnson, who has an ownership stake in the WNBA, compared her to young stars like Angel Reese, saying players like Caitlin are shaping the league's future. Magic also pointed out that it's not just about Caitlin being the most popular player, it's about her potential to reach the very top, just like he and Larry Bird once did. Even with all the challenges and noise, Caitlin's journey has been nothing short of transformative. She's bringing in fans, raising the league's profile, and proving that women's basketball is a force to be reckoned with. As Charles Barkley said, the WNBA owes her a lot for what she's done for the game. Caitlin Clark is not just a rising star, she's a trailblazer. Her ability to thrive under pressure, elevate the sport, and handle adversity with grace is why basketball legends, fans, and critics alike are rooting for her. Whether it's breaking records or changing perceptions, Caitlin is building a legacy that will be talked about for years to come.
You know, I love talking about Caitlin Clark on this show, and she participated in some kind of LPGA Pro-Am, drew monster crowds. There's pictures of just like everybody trying to get an autograph with Caitlin Clark.
Outrageous criticism, media frenzy, and a string of headlines. It's safe to say that Caitlin Clark has been at the center of controversy over the past few months. In a move that caught everyone off guard, Clark struck a headline-making deal with the LPGA, calling her WNBA legacy into question and sparking debates about loyalty, fame, and ambition.
Yeah. One more key photo. Caitlin, great to meet you. Looking forward to the afternoon together. Okay, go. Come on. Hug it out. Squeeze in close together. We'll get one right here, please.
Speaking of which, the Caitlin Clark effect is starting to take shape. After delivering what could be the best rookie season in NBA history, she made the unexpected move to female golf, where she's now being heralded as the next big thing. But how did Clark manage to conquer 2 worlds in just 8 months? And why are critics calling her success a betrayal of women's basketball? In this video, we'll break down everything from Caitlin Clark's new deal to the backlash and everything surrounding her controversial journey. But before we dive in, let's take a trip down memory lane. At the start of the year, the Caitlin Clark effect was undeniable. Even before she set foot on a WNBA court, ticket sales for every platform skyrocketed by over 90% once she declared for the draft. Her performance in the league has been nothing short of outstanding. In her rookie season with the Indiana Fever, she averaged 19 points per game, scoring at least 13 points in 29 of her 36 games this year. What's even more surprising are her record-breaking feats, becoming the first player in WNBA history to hit over 100 three-point shots and rack up 300 assists in a single season. At this point, NBA analysts were already calling her a generational talent, but Clark's influence wasn't just reflected in the numbers, it was in the stands as well. Every week, Fever games turned into must-watch events. With fans traveling from across the country to see her play, she brought an entirely new audience to the WNBA. Meanwhile, Reese wasn't just riding the wave of hype, she was making her own history, becoming the first rookie to record an all-star game, double-double, the first WNBA player to achieve back-to-back 20-rebound games, and pulling off an impressive 24 double-doubles in her rookie season. While others are still trying to catch up, Reese is reshaping the game, and Clark has done more than just elevate the league's profile. However, while Clark was drawing record crowds, boosting TV ratings, and breathing new life into women's basketball, the WNBA failed to make her the face of the league. As a result, Caitlin Clark is now taking her talents and fan base elsewhere. Enter her debut at an LPGA Pro-Am, which drew bigger crowds than some of the tour's main events. At this point, she's not just rewriting the narrative in basketball, she's also making waves in women's golf. Playing alongside world number 1 Nelly Korda at the Pelican Golf Club's Annika Pro-Am, Clark showed that her influence extends far beyond the basketball court. If anyone thought her dominance was limited to the hardwood, her impressive performance on the greens has now silenced many doubters. When Caitlin Clark stepped onto the Pelican Golf Club course, it was clear this wasn't just another golfer taking their turn. The LPGA capitalized on the moment by pairing Clark with Nelly Korda, a marketing move that spotlighted both players as generational talents. The anticipation was electric, and even the Golf Channel rearranged its programming to cover her live, something unheard of for a Pro-Am event. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark took the spotlight in Florida, drawing massive crowds, and once again, proving that her star power extends well beyond the basketball court. Alongside Korda, Clark played with tournament host Annika Sorenstam, teeing off at the crack of dawn and launching an early shot into the gallery. Fans were glued to her every move at Pelican Golf Club. The WNBA Rookie of the Year's presence drove ticket sales and boosted media attention for the event. After the round, she was swarmed for autographs, and with an endorsement deal from Gainbridge, the LPGA tournament's sponsor, and a role in a women's leadership summit, it was clear her presence was far from casual. While Clark insists that golf is her escape, her single long-range putt left fans wondering, is she just playing for fun, or is she quietly taking over yet another sport? One thing is clear, the LPGA is thriving on Caitlin Clark's star power in a way the WNBA could only dream of. The media and golf elite couldn't stop singing her praises. 8-time LPGA champion Nelly Korda, who played alongside Clark, had nothing but admiration for her after the game, praising her skills and presence on the course.
It was so amazing. She's so sweet, so nice. It was nice to kind of get to spend some time with her. We've messaged a little on Instagram beforehand, but to get to spend some time with her and to see the influence that she has on people, bringing people out here, and to see how amazing of an influence she is.
The praise didn't stop with Nelly Korda. LPGA Tour Commissioner Jay Monahan was equally blown away, calling Caitlin Clark's performance incredible and applauding her passion for the game. Overall, Clark's presence on the course didn't just spark excitement, it stirred up drama. Her growing star power now threatens to overshadow seasoned pros in yet another sport. Is Caitlin Clark the crossover phenom golf never knew it needed? Or is this a sign that women's sports are evolving faster than their leagues can keep up? At this point, it's clear Clark isn't slowing down anytime soon. However, not everyone is cheering for Caitlin Clark's meteoric rise. While Korda and Monahan praised her for uniting fans across sports, insiders in the WNBA are reportedly seething over her crossover success. the LPGA's full-court press to spotlight Clark has left some in the WNBA feeling left behind. Insiders claim league officials are frustrated, not only by the LPGA's success, but also because the WNBA has failed to fully capitalize on Clark's star power. Social media lit up with clips of her swings, and national basketball and golf media flocked to the event. Tournament host and golf legend Annika Sorenstam captured the moment perfectly, highlighting Clark's undeniable impact on the sport. For better or worse, Caitlin Clark is rewriting the playbook for crossover stardom and shaking up women's sports in the process. Despite questions about her commitment to golf, it was revealed she's been swinging clubs since childhood. After making her 2023 debut at the John Deere Classic alongside major champion Zach Johnson, Clark's appearance at the Pelican Golf Club proved one thing: her crossover appeal is no fluke. Meanwhile, WNBA enthusiasts are rumored to feel overshadowed by Clark's dominance on the golf course, despite her record-breaking rookie season on the basketball court. While golf fans flock to see her tee off and whispers of a potential LPGA contract swirl, WNBA fans are left asking why their league hasn't given Clark the same level of attention. Take her Rookie of the Year award, for example. Rather than a grand celebration for her groundbreaking achievements, it was handed out in a nearly empty arena with little fanfare, a baffling move for someone who has done more to elevate the league in one season than most players do in a career. As the buzz around Clark's golf ventures intensifies, the WNBA's failure to capitalize on her star power becomes increasingly obvious. The LPGA has done what the WNBA couldn't. They turned Caitlin Clark's star power into a game changer. But here's the irony. Caitlin's rise should be a win for everyone. She has brought unprecedented attention to women's sports. Yet, while the LPGA embraced the moment and ran with it, the WNBA stayed stuck in its old ways, hesitant, overly cautious, and failing to seize the bold opportunity. When a male NBA or NFL star steps into another sport, social media explodes with hype. This was the WNBA's chance to do the same, celebrate Clark, ride the wave of excitement, and prove they can champion their biggest stars. Instead, they fumbled. Now, the league finds itself at a crossroads, grappling with a familiar issue: how to balance promoting standout players like Clark while still pushing the league forward as a whole. The LPGA made its move and won. Meanwhile, the WNBA risks being left in the dust, overshadowed by a star they didn't know how to celebrate. As Clark juggles her intense off-season training while fielding interest from the rapidly growing 3-on-3 women's basketball league, her crossover into golf raises an even bigger question. Is Caitlin Clark reshaping women's sports? Or is she quietly stepping away from basketball altogether?
The veteran point guard, Cunningham, got her in free agency. This is a perfect opportunity now for Bailey Champlin as young point guard.
The 2025 WNBA draft was meant to be a night of celebration, a spotlight moment where rising stars took their place in the league's future. But instead of a smooth coronation of new talent, the night veered into chaos. Hailey Van Lith, a fiery and confident guard fresh off a strong college run, didn't just show up. She made an entrance and then took a stunning swipe at Caitlin Clark, the reigning face of women's basketball. What followed wasn't just drama. It was a full-blown spectacle that stunned fans, analysts, and players alike. And the wildest part, it wasn't just a bold statement. It was a careering misstep that humbled Van Lith before she ever stepped on a WNBA court. Imagine being at the Shed in Hudson Yards, New York City, buzzing with excitement. The 2025 draft was a big deal. Riding the wave of a record-breaking year for the WNBA, Caitlin Clark, the Indiana Fever superstar, had transformed the league in her rookie season, drawing massive crowds, spiking TV ratings, and landing lucrative broadcast deals. Her long-range shooting and playmaking had fans comparing her to NBA legends, and her impact was undeniable. The draft, featuring names like Paige Buchers and Van Lith, was poised to build on that momentum. But what happens next will leave you speechless. Van Lith, drafted 11th overall by the Chicago Sky, had a story that resonated with many. She'd fought her way through a nomadic college career, playing at Louisville, LSU, and TCU. Known for her grit and relentless energy, she was a player who thrived on proving doubters wrong. Her reunion with Angel Reese, her former LSU teammate, was a draft highlight, promising a dynamic duo in Chicago. But Van Lith wasn't content to just soak in the moment. She had a score to settle, rooted in a college rivalry with Clark that dated back to 2023. In that NCAA Elite Eight game, Clark torched LSU for 41 points, leaving Van Lith and her teammates in the dust. The image of Clark's "you can't see me" gesture became a viral taunt, and Van Lith hadn't forgotten. And this is where things go completely off the rails. During a pre-draft segment, Van Lith was thrown a playful question: start, bench, or cut 3 WNBA stars, Diana Taurasi, Sabrina Ionescu, and Caitlin Clark. It was meant to be a fun icebreaker, but Van Lith saw an opportunity. With cameras rolling and the crowd hanging on her every word, she chose to start Taurasi, bench Ionescu, and cut Clark. The arena fell silent for a split second before erupting in murmurs. Social media lit up like a wildfire. Fans couldn't believe she'd gone after the league's biggest star so brazenly. But here's what they're not telling you: Van Lith wasn't done yet. In her post-selection interview, Van Lith doubled down. She didn't mention Clark by name, but her words cut deep. She talked about grinding her way to the pros, implying some players had been handed fame on a silver platter. The jab was clear. Clark, the media darling, was her target. It was a bold move, one that screamed confidence but reeked of miscalculation. Van Lith thought she was crafting an underdog narrative, but she just poked the bear, and you'll never guess how it ends. The backlash was immediate and relentless, with fans tearing into Van Lith's comments as bitter and unnecessary. They flooded the internet with stats comparing her college career to Clark's. Van Lith's numbers were solid, nearly 20 points a game at Louisville, 18 at TCU. But Clark's were otherworldly. She'd rewritten the NCAA record books, becoming the all-time leading scorer while leading Iowa to back-to-back national championship games. Her stat lines looked like they belonged in a video game, and her impact went beyond the court, selling out arenas and boosting the WNBA's profile. And just when you thought it couldn't get worse, the WNBA community piled on. ESPN analysts were floored. One called Van Lith's comments envy dressed up as confidence. Another pointed out the irony. Clark's rise had made the 2025 draft the second most watched in WNBA history. With 1.25 million viewers tuning in, by shading the player who'd put the league on the map, Van Lith wasn't just starting a rivalry, she was alienating the very fans and players she'd need to succeed. Even current WNBA stars took notice, with some quietly unfollowing Van Lith on social media. The message was clear: you don't come for the queen unless you're ready to back it up. But what happens next is truly insane. The real gut punch came from Clark herself, though not in the way you'd expect. While Van Lith's words were dissected online, Clark stayed silent. No tweets, no interviews, no petty clapbacks. Instead, she let a single moment speak for her. A cold, knowing smile caught on camera as Van Lith threw her shade. It was the same look Clark had worn in college when opponents tried to get under her skin, right before she buried them with a deep three. Days later, she was spotted at a youth basketball camp, coaching kids and signing jerseys for hours. The contrast was stark. Van Lith was chasing clout while Clark was building a legacy. And here's where everything changes. Just weeks after the draft, Clark made headlines by stepping onto the court during a Pacers game to toss out merch, stealing the spotlight in the process. No other rookie had ever drawn this much attention. In a preseason matchup, she reminded everyone why she's the league's biggest attraction, dropping 28 points, handing out 8 assists, and pulling down 5 rebounds. She hit deep threes and ran the offense like a veteran. Meanwhile, the cameras caught Van Lith still in warm-ups, waiting for her moment. Social media erupted, flooding timelines with memes of Clark cooking while Van Lith looked on from the bench. The numbers told the story. Clark's rookie season was historic, with records for most points by a rookie guard, most assists by a rookie, and the first ever rookie triple-doubles in WNBA history. She was named Player of the Month and Rookie of the Month in the same month, a first in league history. Van Lith, meanwhile, had yet to log a single professional minute. Stick around because this next part is huge. The WNBA community didn't hold back. An anonymous player reportedly said, "You earn your place with buckets, not by running your mouth on draft night." A veteran praised Clark for bringing more money and exposure to the league, urging Van Lith to show some respect. League executives knew Clark's value better than anyone. Ticket sales had skyrocketed over 300% since her draft declaration, and her merchandise accounted for nearly half of all league sales. New broadcast deals with ESPN and Amazon, quadrupling primetime exposure, were tied directly to her star power. Clark wasn't just a player, she was a one-woman economic engine. And if you think that's bad, just wait, because Van Lith's troubles were just beginning. Behind the scenes, the fallout was brutal. Reports emerged that multiple teams had passed on drafting Van Lith, wary of her attitude and potential to disrupt locker room chemistry. One scout, speaking anonymously, said she was talented but no Caitlin, and teams didn't want drama over production. The Chicago Sky took a chance on her, banking on her connection with Reese to smooth things over. But even that came with pressure. Reese had navigated her own rivalry with Clark, learning to share the spotlight. Van Lith, it seemed, was still chasing it. And the final twist? It's something no one expected. The WNBA season opener pits the Sky against Clark's Fever, and it's already the most anticipated game of the year. For Van Lith, it's a chance to prove her words weren't empty. But the pressure is crushing. Every missed shot, every turnover, every moment she's on the court will be compared to Clark's performance. Fans are already hyping Clark to drop another 40, with memes predicting a humbling for Van Lith. Her draft night comments didn't just start a feud, they set an impossible standard for a rookie yet to prove herself. And by the end of this, you'll understand why this is so important. Clark, meanwhile, remains unfazed. She's not here for the drama or the headlines. She's in the gym, as shown by her going 50 for 54 from 3 on her birthday. Her focus is on championships, not sound bites. Her rookie season set records, fastest to 100 three-pointers, most assists in an all-star game, and countless franchise milestones. She's not just a star, she's the league's future. With teams reshaping marketing plans and cities bracing for sold-out games when she's in town, Van Lith's jab may have earned her a few retweets, but Clark is earning respect. One jumper, one pass, one packed arena at a time. For Van Lith, the road ahead is steep. She didn't just pick a fight, she picked the wrong one. The WNBA isn't college, where rivalries can thrive on trash talk alone. This is a league finally gaining traction thanks to Clark's hard work and humility. By trying to tear her down, Van Lith misread the room and painted herself as the antagonist, before earning the right to be a rival. Every game she plays will be a referendum on her draft night words, with fans and analysts ready to pounce on every misstep. You'll want to see this through to the end. Trust me. As the dust settles, one thing is clear. Caitlin Clark doesn't need to respond with words. Her game speaks louder than any interview could. Van Lith, on the other hand, has a lot to prove. When the Sky and Fever face off in May, the scoreboard will tell the real story. And that's where everything clicked into place. Because in the WNBA, talk is cheap, and Clark is already cashing checks with every bucket. Is the Van Lith Angel Reese matchup a threat to Caitlin Clark's Indiana Fever? Let us know what you think in the comments section below.
I have yet to see a single example of Angel Reese being a leader outside of rebounding her own missed layups. What does Angel Reese do? What is her contribution? You tell me, because I'm not seeing it. I know I'm harsh on Angel Reese, but she considers herself a star. If you're going to call yourself a star, I expect you to perform like a star, especially in big moments. Caitlin Clark was injured. Angel Reese was the only star on the court last night. And for 27 minutes, she completely disappeared.
Angel Reese just suffered the most humiliating moment of her career in front of a packed house and primetime viewers. She scored a mere 4 points on 2 of 7 shots as the Indiana Fever crushed the Chicago Sky by 27. But here's the kicker. The Fever played without Caitlin Clark, Sophie Cunningham, or even their head coach. And the moment that truly shattered Reese's confidence? We'll break it down in this video. Caitlin Clark pulled off a live TV move that completely put Reese in her place.
Well, there's a lot of reaction coming in from last night's drubbing, destruction, annihilation, cremation, whatever you want to call it, roasting, sauteed, whatever your form of cooking may be. But the Indiana Fever absolutely dismantled the Chicago Sky.
You know a player isn't a true draw when tickets to their game drop to the price of a gas station candy bar. This United Center showdown was supposed to be Angel Reese's chance to prove she could pull in crowds and viewers without Caitlin Clark stealing the spotlight. All season, the Chicago Sky pushed the story that Reese was just as much of a box office star as Clark, that fans showed up to watch her shine too.
Angel Reese is now quoted as saying, "I'll look back in 20 years and be like, yeah, the reason why we're watching women's basketball is not just because of one person." She refuses to say Caitlin Clark's name. "It's because of me too, and I want you to realize that."
Then reality hit like a freight train. Once Caitlin Clark was ruled out with her quad injury, ticket prices crashed from premium to just $3. $3. You can't even grab a decent coffee for that. Yet, that's what people were willing to pay to watch Angel Reese at the United Center. This wasn't a small dip. Tickets once priced for a marquee WNBA showdown suddenly tanked. The moment Clark's absence was official, the secondary market collapsed. Scalpers couldn't give tickets away, and fans who'd been hyped lost all interest. Now, it's crystal clear. There's only one true star.
Last night was somewhat of a big moment for Angel Reese and the Chicago Bravado. For starters, the WNBA moved the game out of the local dump the Bravado usually play in and relocated to the United Center, which is the largest arena in the NBA, holding over 20,000 people. Now, to their credit, there seemed to be a good crowd in the United Center last night. I had someone who was at the game send me a few pictures, and most sections seemed to be filled. It wasn't a sellout, but there was supposedly over 19,000 people in attendance. Of course, it's easier to draw a decent crowd when tickets are selling for $3 hours before the game starts.
Social media told the full story. Fans flooded timelines with screenshots of $3 tickets, peppered with laughing emojis, joking they could take their whole family to the game for less than parking costs. The hype around this United Center showdown deflated faster than a punctured basketball. Let's be real, this was Chicago's big moment to shine. The Sky kept claiming Reese had her own fan base, was must-watch TV, the main draw. But when it came down to it, with Clark missing, the market spoke loud and clear about who fans really wanted to see.
What an outfit Angel Reese was rocking. She put a lot of time, a lot of effort into making sure her ensemble was on point. Are my boots matching my jacket? Are my gloves matching my hat? Angel Reese put in tons of time for this outfit, which begs the question, does Angel Reese put in more time in her outfits for the pre-game catwalk, or does she put in more time to actually get better at the game?
Compare that to past games where Clark's presence packed the arena with sellout crowds. Fans lined up hours early just to catch a glimpse of Clark warming up. The difference couldn't have been more glaring.
Angel Reese, part 38, let's get it! Life throws her lemons, she makes bricks. Bang! PSA to anyone watching, she is right-handed. Right-handed, by the way. She missed the rim by 3 feet, man. Bang! I gotta say, this is my favorite summer sitcom. Pecan? Butter pecan? Here's a stat. She's been blocked 20 times, and she's only made 21 hoops. What?
Even Chicago Sky fans lost interest without the Clark matchup to hype. The game's energy shifted from electric anticipation to resigned obligation. Fans who planned watch parties suddenly made other Friday night plans. This ticket price disaster was just the start of Angel Reese's worst nightmare unfolding on the biggest stage. Those $3 tickets perfectly foreshadowed the kind of performance Chicago's supposed superstar was about to deliver.
This might have been the first WNBA game broadcast on CBS in prime time. If it's not the first, it's one of very few. This was a big moment. I'm sure the WNBA would call it historic. Angel Reese is playing in an NBA arena in prime time on network television on Saturday night. Outside of regular season baseball, maybe the College World Series, there was no competition on television. The eyes of the sports world were focused on Angel Reese and the WNBA. And Angel Reese once again proved why no one is watching her.
4 points on 2 of 7 shooting in 27 minutes on primetime TV. That's how you ruin your reputation live and loud. The United Center hosted its first ever WNBA game, with CBS clearing prime time and a sold-out crowd filling the NBA's biggest arena expecting fireworks. Instead, they witnessed Angel Reese deliver what analysts labeled a disaster class and a total meltdown on the sport's grandest stage.
Caitlin Clark is averaging more assists per game than Angel Reese is averaging points per game this season. Yeah. 9.3 points per assists per game. 9.3 assists per game. Let me just bring it up. To 9.1 points per game.
Let's break down just how brutal this performance was. Reese scored only 4 points, missing 5 of 7 shots, including 2 cringe-worthy layups that made the crowd groan. One attempt was completely blocked, and the cameras captured every flicker of her visible frustration as the game slipped away. For someone hyped as Chicago's superstar and box office draw, this stat line was downright savage.
Another diabolical stat. She's 19 of 59 from less than 5 feet away. How about that, man? Dang! She should work at housekeeping for hotels because she could turn it over quickly. Lost by 27, scored only 4 points against the Indiana Fever. I mentioned no Caitlin Clark, no problem, give and go. Like a given no shot of working. Bang!
You prefer a car or plane?
Car or plane for what? For how you want to travel! That's too many steps and you can't do that.
But here's what truly broke the game wide open. Reese. Out there, she looked utterly lost. Every move seemed clouded by doubt. Every decision a step into uncertainty. The weight of the moment crushed her, and Indiana's defense tore through her composure like a storm. The cameras caught it all. The frustrated shakes of her head, the silent disappointment etched on her face as shot after shot rattled off the rim. This wasn't just a bad game. This was a moment of unraveling, and the story was impossible to ignore.